Hello and welcome to this section on Azure Monitoring Solutions. On the first slide, I give you an overview of how Azure Monitor connects to other systems to do its job. Azure Monitor is not a one-size-fits-all system. You can think of it as a window that builds upon or connects to other systems. For instance, Log Analytics stands by itself. It is a standalone product. In Azure Monitor and various resource plates, you just have the Logs button to jump into Log Analytics. Let's visit each piece in a bit more detail in the next sections. First, we have the Boot Diagnostics option. It is available from the VM blade. You can enable it when you deploy the VM or thereafter. It requires a storage account to store its collected data, such as screenshots from the login prompt. The serial console is a web-based command line prompt that is directly connected to the OS, so no RDP or SSH is required. You would use it for troubleshooting purposes without network connectivity. The serial console requires boot diagnostics to be enabled, by the way. Second, we have the Diagnostics extension. You use it to stream predefined OS-level logs and metrics to one or more of the following: a storage account, an event hub, or a Log Analytics Workspace. You would use the Diagnostics extension when you require OS-level metrics such as memory, which is a non-hypervisor level metric. Diagnostics extension uses two agents to do its job: the Windows Diagnostics extension, or WAD, and the Linux Diagnostics extension, or LAD. Next one is Log Analytics. It is a central piece in any modern Azure infrastructure. It is based on Azure Data Explorer, which is a standalone product, and both Log Analytics and ADX feature an intuitive and powerful query language called Casto, or KQL for short. The Casto query language was inspired by Splunk, and if you come from AWS, you know that CloudWatch also has a similar feature. Log Analytics allows you not only to query standard logs, but also to stream and query custom logs. Remember that with the Diagnostics extension, we could only stream predefined logs and metrics. The central object of Log Analytics is the Log Analytics Workspace. You create a Log Analytics Workspace in a certain region, and you can then register VMs in the same region with this particular Log Analytics Workspace. So the Log Analytics Workspace basically functions as a kind of registry for VMs also. That is why other services such as automation accounts and certain solutions such as Application Insights and Service Map also rely on a Log Analytics Workspace. The agents responsible for the Log Analytics are the Microsoft Monitoring Agent, or MMA, for Windows, and the OMS agent for Linux, where OMS stands for Operations Monitoring Suite. Next one are the control plane level agents. These come pre-installed on Azure Marketplace images and are responsible for the communication with the Azure backend. Again, just some name dropping because the exam might ask about it. On Linux, this control plane level agent is called WA agent, and on Windows, it doesn't have a particular memorable name that I can think of, so let's just call it a guest VM agent. On the right side, you see a screenshot that shows you the WA agent from the VM blade, like agent status and version number. And of course, I'm going to show you this in a bit more detail in the hands-on lesson. Next one is the Performance Diagnostics extension. It is an extension that you deploy on demand from the VM blade to capture performance trace of the M over a short time frame. Since it is VM level, it does not require any code modification or so. It runs some analysis, and once it finishes, you can download the zipped report via the portal. The report contains HTML files and config files, and again, we are going to see this in the hands-on lesson in more detail. Next one is a Service Map solution. You would use the Service Map solution to visualize how your infrastructure is connected. And that's enough to know for the exam. A general remark here. Solutions has its own resource blade in the Azure portal, and we're going into more detail in the hands-on video. Solutions are often associated with the Log Analytics Workspace because of two things. First of all, they use the Log Analytics Workspace as a VM registry. So the Log Analytics Workspace knows which VMs are connected to it. And the second one, and this is the major reason, is they use it for reporting and logging to the Log Analytics Workspace. Some examples of prominent solutions that might come up in the exam are the Service Map solution that we're talking about right now, and the Application Insights solution. No deep knowledge on these is required, just some basic name dropping here. Next name on the list is the Application Insight solution. It is an SDK-based solution, so you need to modify your code to use it, and you would use it for getting custom metrics and error reporting into a log Analytics Workspace. When you're going for the Azure developer, you would explore this Application Insight solution in a bit more detail. And yes, Azure has lots of agents, and when you're starting Azure, it can be tricky to wrap your hand around them. Actually, I find Azure in this area more complex than GCP or AWS. Feel free to dive into more detail when you are interested, but when you remember the contents of this chapter will be enough to pass the exam. Okay, let's have a quick summary and recap of what we just learned. In case I want to see metrics like CPU or hypervisor level metrics, I do not need to install anything on the VM. I could just go to Azure Monitor and view the metric. But given I want to view non-hypervisor level metrics such as memory, I would have to install the Azure Diagnostics extension on the VM first. When I want to stream standard logs and metrics to an event hub and then to Graylog or Splunk, I would use the Diagnostics extension as well. However, when I want to query standard and custom logs, metrics, I would use the Log Analytics agent with a Log Analytics Workspace. For visualization of my infrastructure, like which VM talks to which other VM, I would use the service map solution with the dependency agent. And last but not least, when I want to do error reporting and tracing, I would adapt my code to use the Application Insight solution, and the logs and metrics would stream into the Log Analytics Workspace directly. So that's it for this lesson. Go ahead and mark it as complete, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.